So I finally need to share this because these people refuse to stop ringing me. My phone screen looks like it's under attack from persistent sales callers. 147 missed calls on Monday, 156 on Tuesday. I've started keeping track since it's become almost amusing now. Some context first, this Thanksgiving incident didn't come out of nowhere. The tension has been growing for 26 years. My mother Joanna gave birth to me at 19 with my biological father who vanished before my arrival. She wed Pierce when I turned 4. They welcomed my half-sister Valerie when I was 6. The instant Valerie appeared, I turned into the living symbol of my mom's past error. Pierce constantly reminded me I wasn't his biological child, and my mother picked her fresh family over me. Childhood felt like residing as an unwanted tenant forever. Valerie received the bright room with large windows. I ended up in the damp basement storage space where the noisy water heater ran nonstop through the night. Valerie wore brand new outfits for school. I wore whatever came from charity bins at church. At age 12, Pierce declared he spent his earnings solely on his own daughter, and that I ought to feel thankful just to sit at his table for meals. My mother stood silently in the doorway throughout that entire exchange. Not a single word. That moment clarified my exact position in their eyes. Not the times they excluded me from holiday pictures when I was 8. Not forgetting my birthday at 10 while throwing Valerie an extravagant princess celebration. It was witnessing my own mother decide to stay quiet. I refused to turn into some pitiful, shattered child. Instead, I became furious, and that fury never faded. Each insult, each degrading moment, every occasion Pierce labeled me a drain on resources. I stored it all mentally. I sensed that one day the balance would shift in my favor. This past Thanksgiving, I turned 26. I work as a systems analyst now. I own my own place. I drive my own vehicle. Why did I even attend? My grandmother Yvonne, my mom's mother, personally requested my presence. At 81, she mentioned this could be her final major family get-together. I went purely for her sake. Around 30 relatives gathered at the home Pierce and Joanna occupy. I arrived wearing a respectable coat. Nothing extravagant, but the temperature outside hovered at 38 degrees in Ohio. Pierce greeted me at the entrance and demanded my coat. Minutes later, he returned from the garage and announced he'd discarded it in the garbage because genuine men don't rely on outerwear. They produce their own warmth. He added that perhaps if I invested less in appearance and more in exercise, I wouldn't need to dress like a youngster in layers. The entire living room overheard and burst into laughter. My aunt, Uncle Nathaniel, various cousins, all joined in the amusement. I stayed composed, just mentally noted it. Then came dinner. A huge table set with 29 seats for 30 attendees. My mother informed me no space remained, but she'd prepared a plate I could take to the rear porch. I questioned whether she meant it. She replied the porch included a small heater. Besides, she'd informed the relatives I was recovering from a stomach illness, so they'd feel uneasy sitting close. She'd convinced 30 family members I carried something contagious just to banish me from the meal. I accepted the plate, stepped onto the porch. The heater was a weak little unit that scarcely heated a small restroom. I sat in a cheap plastic outdoor chair and listened as the back door shut. Then came the unmistakable sound of the lock turning. She'd secured it from inside. Peering through the window, I saw my sister Valerie filming me with her phone, doubled over in hysterics. Through the glass, she shouted that I was really doing it, sitting outdoors like some stray animal. She couldn't fathom how pathetic I'd become. Let me clarify something important. I felt neither surprised nor heartbroken. This matched precisely what I'd anticipated all along. The sole change was their newfound courage to act this way with onlookers present. I consumed my food. 40 minutes exposed to the chill, coatless. Not a single cousin bothered to look in on me. My mother's fabricated illness excuse functioned flawlessly. I noticed a few relatives peek toward the porch, then swiftly avert their gaze. Grandma remained absent from the dining area. She stayed in her wheelchair in the front room. She had no clue I'd been relegated outside. They'd informed her I was taking meals downstairs due to work obligations. Once the meal concluded, Mom unlatched the door and offered I could rejoin for sweets, as though granting me a kindness. I informed her I was departing. I bid farewell to Grandma, who clasped my hand and inquired why my fingers felt icy. I blamed faulty car heating. I embraced her. Then I drove away. That evening, Valerie uploaded the porch footage to Instagram, captioned, "Thanksgiving Pup." 47 viewers saw it. One old classmate from high school forwarded a capture asking what on earth occurred. I ignored every message. I returned home and bided my time. What none of them realized, I'd been anticipating an incident like this for a long while, because I possessed knowledge they lacked concerning Grandma Yvonne. 3 years earlier, she drew me aside privately and revealed she'd revised her will. Having observed Pierce and Joanna's treatment of me throughout my life, she felt deep regret for not intervening sooner. She disclosed she intended to bequeath the house to me, that very house. The identical residence Pierce and Joanna had occupied at no rent cost for 15 years, ever since Grandma relocated to assisted living and permitted their stay to handle upkeep. The property belongs to her alone, not theirs, and it would pass to me. Grandma also confided that Pierce had repeatedly assured others she'd pledged the house to him. He'd structured his finances around that belief. They'd even refinanced vehicle loans expecting the inheritance. No savings accumulated. Why bother when a $300,000 property awaited? For 3 full years, I'd held this secret while enduring their mistreatment. 3 years poised for the perfect opportunity. 1 week following Thanksgiving, Grandma suffered a fall. She recovered somewhat, yet remained fragile. Physicians advised settling her affairs promptly. She summoned the relatives to review her estate plans. That's when my phone began ringing incessantly. Urgent text from my aunt requesting a callback. Voicemail left by Uncle Nathaniel insisting we speak. Then calls from Mom. Then Pierce. Then Valerie. 147 attempts Monday, 156 Tuesday. I ignored every single one, simply observing the tally rise while reflecting on that frigid porch, the bolted door, and my sister's mocking expression through the pain. They finally learned the truth. Grandma disclosed it during the family discussion I deliberately skipped. She plainly stated who would receive the residence and granted them 6 months to relocate elsewhere. Now the calls flood in, around 150 daily, because they suddenly require my assistance. I haven't discovered precisely what yet since I've refused to answer, but eventually I will. I've held patience for 26 years. A few extra days to decide my preferred approach won't hurt. My relatives still haven't grasped the situation. I'm not seeking healing, forgiveness, or remorse. I'm filled with rage. That rage began at 12, witnessing my mother opt for silence instead of defending her firstborn. And someone harboring long-term anger combined with strategic advantage becomes truly formidable. Further developments ahead. Pierce appeared in my apartment complex lot this morning, parked in his pickup, simply waiting. I spotted him from my window and stayed indoors. Let him remain. Let him experience the chill this time. Update 1. All right, plenty transpired since my previous message. A number of you requested an update once I finally engaged with them. Here it comes. Pierce remained stationed in my lot for 3 straight days, from dawn until dusk, just occupying his vehicle. Thursday, my neighbor Evan stopped by, inquiring whether I required authorities contacted. A man loitering near the building had unsettled residents. I explained it concerned family matters. By Friday, I'd grown tired of allowing Pierce to dictate the schedule. He was deliberately stalling, forcing me to emerge on his terms. So instead, I messaged my mother, not him. I understood that choice would infuriate him further. I instructed her that if discussion mattered, she could meet me alone at the diner on 5th Street, Saturday at noon. Only her, no Pierce, no Valerie. If anybody else appeared, I'd depart immediately. She replied within half a minute, questioning my uncooperative attitude and why we couldn't converse normally at home like proper relatives. I answered I wouldn't step foot inside that place again until legal ownership bore my name. Saturday midday, I waited at the diner. Mom arrived wearing an expression suggesting she'd suffered injustice. Her opening statement carried zero regret. She launched into claims that Grandma lacked clear judgment lately. That prescriptions clouded her thinking, and how unfair it seemed that I exploited an elderly woman's disorientation to rob the entire family. Rob the family. I permitted her 5 uninterrupted minutes. She described Pierce's 15 years of upkeep on the property, their investments in fixes, the chances sacrificed because Grandma required nearby support. She claimed I'd distanced myself for ages, visiting rarely. Yet suddenly I descended to claim an unearned prize. When she paused, I inquired whether she recalled Pierce's words to me at age 12, regarding whose funds covered expenses, and who deserved gratitude merely for a place at the table. She dismissed it as ancient history. People utter harsh phrases under monetary pressure, she claimed. I countered that Pierce spoke with full intent. I recounted every instance she'd witnessed him demean me without protest. The basement quarters, hand-me-down garments, exclusion from group photographs. The Thanksgiving at 9 when I dined solo in the kitchen because Pierce insisted the main room belonged to genuine kin. Throughout my recounting, she shook her head vigorously, rejecting my recollections outright. She accused me of inflating events. It hadn't been severe. Children occasionally sense exclusion. I had transformed ordinary letdowns into imagined victimhood. I displayed Valerie's Instagram clip of my porch isolation. I questioned whether such conduct qualified as typical, whether confining an adult son outdoors in November, claiming illness to deter contact, occurred in ordinary households. She labeled Thanksgiving a simple mix-up. Truly insufficient seating existed, and the porch served as short-term solution, but busyness caused her to overlook me momentarily. For 40 minutes while I remained bolted outside, in 38-degree weather, coatless. I declared I trusted none of it, and she recognized the falsehood. Her sole motive for appearing stemmed from discovering the inheritance. Suddenly I held value. She switched approaches. Began invoking Grandma's desires, family unity, and how devastated Grandma would feel witnessing division. She proposed perhaps mutual gain remained possible. Maybe permit their continued residence with rent payments, or liquidate and divide proceeds equitably. I sought her definition of equitable. She asserted Pierce and Joanna naturally deserved the bulk due to prolonged stewardship and proximity to Grandma. Her notion of fairness required me to forfeit most of the legacy Grandma deliberately awarded after decades observing their cruelty. I refused outright. Upon Grandma's passing and property transfer, 6 months remained for evacuation. Legal challenges could proceed, but Grandma possessed mental clarity and executed the will formally with counsel anticipating competency disputes. Mom's demeanor turned icy. She warned I'd rue this path, unaware of the consequences I'd unleashed. Families possess methods to complicate life for those who reject them. I pressed for clarification. She hinted Grandma heeded her offspring. Perhaps the moment had arrived for candid discussion with Grandma regarding statements I'd allegedly made over time, details that might prompt reevaluation. She openly threatened fabricating tales to sway my terminally ill grandmother's will. I rose and declared that any attempt to influence Grandma would prompt me to distribute the porch footage universally across relatives. I'd forward copies to Grandma's assisted living acquaintances. All would comprehend their true character. She scoffed I'd never risk it. I'd appear pitiful. I reminded her 47 individuals already viewed it via Valerie's post. 3 reached out privately questioning my family's sanity. The recording needed no explanation. I exited. She lingered another 20 minutes. That evening Pierce arrived at my residence. No knocking, merely spoke loudly enough to penetrate the door. Called me an ungrateful wretch who'd forever burdened them. Claimed my mother forfeited everything raising me. And this constituted repayment. Declared Grandma mentally diminished. Any tribunal would recognize it. Boasted possessing invoices for every fix across 15 years. Promised litigation for full reimbursement. I captured the audio, then summoned apartment security. They removed him from premises. Sunday morning, I visited Grandma. Required alerting her to potential schemes. She sat near the window in her chair, exhausted yet brightening upon seeing me. Her initial comment, Joanna had visited yesterday, immediately post-diner. Grandma recounted Joanna arriving tearful, alleging threats from me, portraying me as hostile and intimidating, requesting will reconsideration. I inquired Grandma's response. She gently touched my hand, stated her choice had formed years prior after witnessing their behavior toward me. Tears held no sway. She informed Joanna plainly, a parent permitting a child's mistreatment akin to an animal forfeits claims to equity. Then Grandma added more. Joanna departed furious. En route out, she paused at the nurse's desk inquiring about medication timetables and decision-making authority. Grandma met my eyes and suspected Joanna sought pathways to deem her incompetent. Currently, my mother appears intent on labeling my grandmother mentally incapable to contest the will. Pierce threatens court action. Valerie bombards texts with insults, accusing me of dismantling the family. Monday, I contacted Grandma's attorney. He recommended thorough documentation. Video declarations affirming intent during evident clarity. Possibly proactive filings if guardianship threats loomed. Grandma consented. We schedule recording tomorrow. Yet genuine concern arises elsewhere. Tonight, Uncle Nathaniel, Pierce's sibling, typically impartial, phoned. Pierce approached him seeking substantial funds this weekend, claimed legal expenses. Yet Nathaniel described wild talk, refusal to allow some thankless youth to seize what he'd earned. Hints at methods to resolve matters. Nathaniel declined assistance. But felt I deserved awareness, Pierce plotted beyond mere fury. Unknown specifics. I'm unwilling to sit passively. Additional updates forthcoming. Update 2. We completed Grandma's recorded declaration, and circumstances deteriorated sharply. Tuesday, I collected Attorney Hendricks and proceeded to the care center. Grandma appeared prepared, nicely attired. Upright posture. The recording lasted 30 minutes. She provided name, date, affirmed voluntary action while fully capable, then detailed rationale for designating me heir to the residence. Described holiday visits witnessing my solitary kitchen meals while others dined together. Pierce labeling me problematic requiring strict correction. Her inquiries about my quiet demeanor met with maternal excuses. When Grandma attempted direct presence, Mom intervened claiming I'd misplaced them. Thus items routed through her. Later, Grandma discovered most never reached me. She recounted age 14 Christmas, $200 cash and a greeting card personally delivered. 2 days afterward, Mom phoned reporting loss, requested replacement. Grandma forwarded another $200. Much later, revelation. Mom confiscated the initial sum immediately, citing household needs during Pierce's unemployment. I remained unaware of the duplicate gift. Assumed genuine loss. Grandma continued. Recalled summer drive-by observing me lawn mowing in sweltering heat while Pierce and Valerie lounged indoors with cool air. Whenever concerns surfaced, Mom wept, insisting maximum effort given, unfair criticism from Grandma. Toward conclusion, Grandma wept herself, regretted insufficient intervention. Wished she'd removed me entirely. Declared the bequest constituted her sole rectification. Hendricks assessed the footage as highly resistant to dispute. Grandma displayed sharp awareness. Precise timelines, coherent justification. We believed competency claims neutralized. Incorrect. Thursday, facility reception texted me. An individual telephoned, posing as Grandma's daughter seeking cognitive assessment details. Staff detected irregularity. Caller probed guardianship filing requirements specifically. Policy prohibits phone disclosure absent identity confirmation. Frustrated caller disconnected. I rushed over, conferred with management. She verified Joanna's 2 visits that week, inquiring into care protocols and prescriptions, expressing worry over mental decline. Management noted courteous persistence yet clear intent to compile evidence. I inquired possible countermeasures. Management suggested healthcare proxy designation, explicitly barring certain individuals from medical data access. That afternoon, Grandma executed documents naming me proxy and prohibiting Joanna/Pierce involvement. Joanna discovered Friday. She appeared at my employment location. Logistics firm in an office complex. Post-shift heading to my vehicle, spotted her beside the driver's side. She'd located my workplace via an old social media mention. She began shouting before proximity, accused me of alienating her mother, claimed Grandma befuddled me orchestrating control. Proxy document evidenced isolating Grandma from legitimate kin. I countered Grandma chose independently. Perhaps absent 20 years of degradation, Grandma wouldn't safeguard assets so vigilantly. Joanna accused historical revisionism. They'd sheltered me unnecessarily. Pierce accepted another's offspring, provided shelter, nourishment, attire. This my gratitude. I raised the age 14 $200 incident. Confiscation, then duplicate request from grandma. Silence fell. Then justification, household bills during Pierce's joblessness. Childish incomprehension of family costs. Intended repayment perpetually delayed. I labeled it theft from a teenager plus deception toward her parent. That defined her essence. Grandma finally perceived truth. Her expression shifted. Warned regret awaited. Pierce consulted counsel regarding property enhancements. Over $60,000 logged in documented work across 15 years. Courts would award restitution priority. I directed her to route Pierce's attorney through Clarissa. Entered my car, departed, left her standing. That evening, I conducted research. State law permits reimbursement for non-owner improvements, solely with permission, plus reasonable ownership belief. Pierce's repeated assertions of promised inheritance undermined him, demonstrated awareness of non-ownership, forwarded findings to Hendricks. Preliminary opinion: Pierce's position frail, particularly with grandma's testimony denying promises or major work approvals. Saturday, Uncle Nathaniel messaged. Pierce and Joanna scheduled Sunday family conference at residence. Invited all aunts, uncles, grown cousins. Official agenda: grandma's well-being and collective future. Nathaniel suspected aim to sway opinion against me pre-passing. Exclusion obvious, yet 3 years anticipating such tactics. 3 years strategizing responses. This gathering presented advantage. I contacted my aunt, mom's sister, with whom relations stayed civil. Informed her of awareness regarding exclusion. Possessed material family required viewing before alignment. Requested she display certain footage. She inquired which. Explained Valerie's Thanksgiving upload, me confined porchside dubbed Canine, she'd viewed. Presumed sibling prank with participation. Clarified locked outdoors 40 minutes at 38 degrees coatless during family meal. Mother spread contagion rumor preventing checks. Far from humorous. Silence followed. Then agreement to present it. Sunday afternoon I monitored. 4:47 p.m. messages surged. Cousins long silent suddenly texting. Aunt's voicemail, video shown, half attendees departed mid-discussion from Pierce and Joanna. Nathaniel reported Pierce's attempted justification dismissed, particularly after contagious fabrication exposure. Mom and Pierce call volume resumed. 89 Sunday evening, Monday Valerie messaged. First non-hostile tone, claimed life destruction, portions of family ceased communication. Grandma's sibling phoned mom furiously, threatened consequences for me, preserved that message. Core misunderstanding persists. This transcends vengeance. 26 years dehumanized without consequence. Fabricated narrative painted me troublesome burden. Joanna's noble sacrifice retaining the error, accepted universally due to my youth and helplessness. Powerlessness ended. Grandma experiences fluctuating clarity now. Prognosis, weeks, possibly months. Daily visits whenever feasible. Yesterday inquired my well-being post-departure, assured her affirmatively. She provided liberation tool. Clasped hand expressed wish for earlier courage, further updates pending. Pierce reportedly intends appearing at workplace alongside attorney. Final update, last entry here. Grandma departed 11 days ago, subsequent events aligned precisely with preparations. Pierce indeed arrived at work with counsel. Wednesday afternoon, duo awaiting beside vehicle, avoided exterior. Approached supervisor, described family issue with potential lot disturbance, escorted via side exit. Pierce's attorney dispatched demand letter to Hendricks seeking $63,000 reimbursement for enhancements, citing expected inheritance via verbal assurance. Hendricks countered with grandma's recorded denial of any promise, supplemented with rent-free occupancy records, 15 years equating roughly $180,000 offset at prevailing rates. Opposing counsel silenced thereafter. Grandma's condition worsened rapidly. Maximized facility time, occasional recognition, occasional confusion mistaking me for grandfather. Even disoriented, grasped hand expressed affection. Mom visited facility twice during my presence. Initial attempt, barred entry per restricted list, protested maternal entitlement. Nurse upheld grandma's explicit unsupervised visit prohibition. Confined to public lounge, staff-monitored room. Sat 1 hour observing hand-holding through entrance. Wordless. Second encounter, hallway interception. Seized arm demanding genuine private discussion. Sans attorneys. Lamented simultaneous loss of mother and child. Countered, lost me 2 decades prior, choosing Pierce repeatedly. Grandma passed aware, daughter permitted animal-like grandson treatment. Tears flowed, admitted errors yet sought unity preservation. Pierce carried personal history, believed patience would foster acceptance. Always mediated for harmony, queered Thanksgiving, porch confinement, bolted exit, illness pretext, harmony maintenance. Explained escalation. Pierce tense, intoxicated, Valerie instigating. Intended brief outdoor stay, distractions delayed recall. Admitted long-standing shame, uncertainty fixing. Stated shame differs from remorse. 20-year window existed, single stand against Pierce sufficient. Never occurred, inquired current rectification. Response, impossible, grandma finalized choice. 6-month vacancy post-death. No extension, requested Pierce discussion. Market challenges, limited options, countered, savings possible anytime. Instead relied on unowned inheritance assumption. Irrelevant to me, she departed. Grandma transitioned Thursday morning. Present bedside, hour prior brief lucidity, named me urged happiness, then eyes shut permanently, funeral Tuesday. Full attendance, Pierce and Joanna claimed front seats confidently. I positioned rear with Uncle Nathaniel and video displaying aunt. Grandma's relatives avoided them entirely. Reception, Pierce approached food station. Intoxicated, accused deception of grandma and kin. Knew true nature, parasite awaiting demise for unearned gain. Claimed 18 years provision, shelter, sustenance. Gratitude absent. Replied, basement, leftovers, endless outsider reminders. Thanksgiving coat discard, canine porch treatment. 15 years rent-free occupancy while claiming ownership. Approached closely, declared unfinished business. House mine perhaps, yet misery guaranteed. Each entry would echo prior residency. Smiled. Expressed gratitude for explicit threat, now documented with witnesses at mother-in-law's service. Uncle Nathaniel plus 3 cousins observed behind. He spun, noticed audience. Nathaniel shook head disapprovingly. Pierce flushed, exited. Joanna trailed, probate completed uncontested. Opposing counsel recommended against pursuit given footage and records. Title transferred 6 weeks post-passing. Enforced 6-month deadline strictly. Pre-expiration drive-by, relocation van present. Continued driving. Final day, arrived 9 a.m. accompanied by locksmith. Vacated, structure bear a side refuse and wall damage from fixture removals. Extracted fans, lighting, towel bars, unconcerned. Engaged renovation service. 14 days, $4,000 expenditure. Justified expense. Reside in grandma's former residence. Now mine. Occupy principal bedroom. Dine at forbidden family table. Valerie messaged recently. Parents occupy modest 2-bedroom rental. Mother weeps daily. Accused life ruination over distant events. Should move forward. Wished my contentment. No reply sent. Yet contentment exists, not derived from their hardship. From releasing 26 years accumulated indignities. Carried because childhood offered no escape. Now possess true residence, my residence. They possess mirror reflection of offerings, mere recollections of mistreating someone deserving respect. Grandma urged happiness, pursuing gradually, certain days challenging. Occasionally sit on rear porch. Identical location of Thanksgiving confinement. Sip morning brew, observe dawn. Mother claimed dogs belong outdoors. This particular one holds title to the property now.